For years, I dressed to fit into someone else's idea of femininity, and the fact is just that it's not you there's something wrong with, it's them, and it's time that we stop putting ourselves into this certain box of what a woman should look like and how a woman should dress and express her feminine energy and masculine energy and everything that she is, because you are an authentic woman and you express yourself in the ways that you want to express yourself. If that is ever changing, that is so natural. If that stays the same for a while, that is also so natural. If that fits into a certain picture, that's okay. And if it doesn't, that's also completely fine. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you how I basically broke free from all of these boxes and found my own way to express myself authentically. I don't know if there's one specific moment where I kind of realized that I was dressing for others as much as I was dressing for myself. I think it has more been like a slower realization that has come to me over the years and has just been such a natural part of becoming a woman, becoming the woman that I am, and really moving from girlhood into womanhood. And I was so lucky to grow up in a home where my parents truly encouraged me to dress freely, express myself freely as I wanted to, and I've been through so many phases. But I think through this societal perspective, there's always been an underlying understanding within myself of how I should express myself. And that has definitely been to dress for the male gaze. If you've seen my other videos, I think you know that I have spoken about the male gaze and the female gaze before. And I think just switching from the male gaze to the female gaze and really like learning more about women's history and gender theory and all of these things has allowed me to understand why it's so important to be aware of the fact that there's a male gaze within our society. And then recently I actually realized that I think how I want to see myself is through the gaze of nature. And I don't know if anyone else has ever thought the same, probably, but I think if we can call something the female gaze, which basically is to see ourselves and others for like the whole beings that we are, and without trying to fit ourselves into certain boxes, and without over-sexualizing ourselves and others, if we can do that, can we also maybe just switch even from that and then into seeing ourselves and others as magical beings, just like nature, and seeing ourselves as a part of the earth, as a part of nature? I think just looking around me right now, I feel I'm in this beautiful, beautiful surrounding, and it's so easy to forget that I was made up of the exact same energy that all of the greenery around me was made up from. And I'm part of it all. So I hope that you will sit with that thought for a little while, and I would love to hear like how that idea resonates with you. How do you feel about the nature gaze? Is that something we should talk more about? Because I kind of feel like it is. And if you're new here, hello, I'm Astrid. This is episode 2 of the Confidence series. There are 6 more episodes coming up that I absolutely cannot wait to show you. And welcome to this online sanctuary where we as women come together to reconnect with ourselves and the earth, and of course each other too. I know that if you're here, you are an amazing, inspiring woman or girl, and I just want to be best friends with you, and I would love for you to join this online sisterhood. So don't forget to subscribe, and maybe come say hello over on my Instagram too if you feel like it. With that said, I think we are ready to move right into our wardrobes, have a look, get an overview of what's going on, and how we can start dressing for the female gaze or the nature gaze instead of the male gaze. And if you're at this point thinking, what is the male gaze? Like, what does that even look like within my wardrobe? I think it is about dressing in a way that feels uncomfortable to you or not authentic to you. Maybe even dimming your expression to fit into a male-centered world. So we really want to step away from that, and we want to start exploring new parts of our style without shame and without worrying about being sexualized, without worrying about being judged or treated differently. Obviously, I acknowledge that we are being treated differently depending on how we look. I hope that we can stand on each other's shoulders and come together as women, as human beings, to just stop judging each other and start supporting each other more actively. Like, if you see someone who just looks amazing and who radiates their own energy, just tell them, okay? Because we need more of this positive, unique energy in the world. And I think we all have a shared responsibility in bringing that into the world more actively. It is so exhausting to constantly have to perform in a certain way, in the way that we dress ourselves. And it has really freed me in so many ways to show up in my own style, I think, and to be able to not feel like I have to also dress the same every single day because I'm allowed to change my mind. And this is all about considering what matters to you when you are dressing. Like, do your values play a role? For example, to me, it's really important that my clothes are sustainably sourced, ethically sourced, and I feel like if you're watching this video, you feel the exact same. You know that these things matter because we love nature, we love the earth, and we want to protect her. So that's definitely a very good example of how values come into play when it comes to our wardrobe. But other than that, I think it's really just about learning what feels good to you personally and allow yourself to experiment and to have fun with it, because truly it's not that serious. It is just clothes. And in the end, it really says nothing about who we are, but it's just a really fun way to express your creativity. So it's like this extra spice that we can put on life. And I love that. I love having fun with it. So allow yourself to just make mistakes, make discoveries on the way. Something that I love doing is having certain priorities when I dress and when I buy new clothes or when I clean up in my wardrobe. I have 3 non-negotiables. I'm gonna share these with you in a minute, but first I'm gonna ask you, what are your 3 non-negotiables when it comes to what you wear? I would actually love to hear that in the comments, and I would love to get inspired by you because I feel like we can learn so much from each other, and this is what sisterhood is all about. So my priority number 1 is, surprise, surprise, sustainable natural fabrics. And this truly matters to me because our bodies absorb plastics through the skin, so we really don't want to have plastics in our clothes, and our skin is our largest organ. So basically what you put on your skin you will most likely absorb, and we want to treat our skin with kindness. Another reason I try and avoid synthetic fabrics is the fact that they're just, to me, quite uncomfortable to wear. I don't feel like I can properly breathe through my skin, and they are just not as good for the environment. If we can minimize plastics within our lives as much as possible, I just think that is such a big step in the right direction when it comes to sustainability and making sustainable choices. And our wardrobes is honestly such an easy place to make this change. And if you're curious, a few brands that I love are Hara the Label. I love them. Disclaimer, I have worked with them. This is not an ad, but I do have to say that it's an ad because I've worked with them. But I've been wearing their clothes for so many years, almost since they started, and they were actually the first truly sustainable pieces that I invested in, and the first time that I ever wore something that felt so much like me. And that is so special to me till this day. Actually, this top that I'm wearing is from Hara the Label, and it's still like one of my first pieces that I got from them, which is actually insane. Like, the quality of this piece is insane. And another brand that I really love is Indigo Luna. My pants right now are from Indigo Luna, and I love wearing these earthy colors. They just make me feel so grounded in a way. I used to wear so many super bright colors, which is also so much fun. But I think I had this fear of being boring with my clothes, and I was honestly kind of scared of wearing like browns. or like beige and whites and, you know, these more neutral colors. But what I've figured out is that they just make me feel so good in my skin, and they make me feel so grounded and close to the earth. There is just something about these colors. I don't know, like, do you feel the same? Yeah, I mean, it cannot just be me. Another brand that I genuinely love is Linen Facts. They make linen clothes, as the name says, but they are super beautiful, versatile, flowy, loose-fitted pieces, which I love. I think what it's really all about when we decide what brands we want to buy our clothes from, it's really important just to ask ourselves a few questions, such as, do they say anything about how these fabrics and clothes were like made and where they were made? Do they have any like certifications that I can look up and read about? Is it a woman-owned company? Maybe like a queer-owned company? There's so many things that we can look at and decide whether we want to support a company or not. Of course, also really important to ask ourselves, will I be wearing these pieces for as many years as I can imagine? Will I feel good in these pieces? I think this brings us into my next non-negotiable thing, which is comfort. I want to feel comfortable. I want my clothes to make me feel like I'm a goddess and support me in radiating my own authentic energy. I think it's really important here to notice the difference between what others find sexy and what makes me feel like a goddess. Because again, if we think about what others find sexy, we can very easily find ourselves falling into this male gaze thing, and we don't want to do that. Even though it's completely fine to dress for a certain occasion, or to wear tight clothes, or to wear something that is typically considered sexy. Like, there's nothing wrong with this. Just as long as you feel good in your clothes, that is all that matters. And how I identify this is just first of all thinking about how comfortable I feel in a clothing piece. For example, in these clothes, I feel super comfortable. I feel like I can move very freely and I can breathe and I can dance whenever I want to dance. I should put that on my list. Like, it is a non-negotiable that I can dance in my clothes from now on, which I think has always been a priority of mine. I just haven't really been like conscious about it, but I am now. I just realized. The next thing I want to talk about is not so much about how we dress, but more about how we find this like genuine confidence within ourselves. And that to me is very dependent on how good care I take of myself. So this is where I want to say it's so important to put yourself first. Not because we don't want to be nice to others or do good things to others, but just because when we show up with love towards ourselves, we also have so much love to give out into the world and to the people that we love. So try and ask yourself, like, how can I put more time into showing myself love? How can I do so? What makes me feel good? Can I create a little ritual maybe around dressing up, or can I allow myself to just sit with my breakfast for a little longer in the morning, or feel the sun on my skin first thing? Like, what are these small things that I can do to show myself love in a way that really truly nourishes me? And I think this really supports the connection between our internal health and our like external expression and the energy that we radiate. Yeah, so let's show ourselves more love and more care, because we truly deserve it. And real self-care, I don't think, is like using 10 different skincare products and again trying to fit ourselves into a certain box of how we should look and stressing ourselves out about it. But it is truly about setting more time aside for ourselves, maybe journaling, maybe making yourself a matcha latte, or going for a walk. Like, it can look so differently to different people, and that is so important to honor. And I think I also actually just want to touch on the topic of saying no and setting boundaries, because confidence in one area really affects confidence in other areas. And I do think that dressing authentically takes a lot of confidence. And so, yes, I just want to remind you that it's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to say no without feeling guilty. And you don't have to come up with an excuse whenever you say no to something, because this is your life, this is your time on earth, and you have to do what you value the most. Also, if you're invited to an event where you feel like you have to dress in a certain way, just know that there is no such thing. You can show up however you want to show up. You should not be scared of overdressing or something. I mean, you're a goddess, so dress like the goddess that you are. And if you feel like wearing something comfortable, wear something comfortable. I mean, obviously we're not going to show up to a wedding in our pajamas, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like, you get the point of what I'm saying. And you also get the point of like how confidence in one area affects confidence in another area. Now, let's talk about a few specific tools that you can use right now and here to move forward on your like authentic style journey. So one thing you can do is you can write down your top 3 priorities of what is non-negotiable to you in the clothes that you wear, buy, thrift, whatever it is. Like, what are the non-negotiables for you? And then I feel like there are also like a few questions that you can ask yourself about how you want to express yourself authentically. For example, you could ask yourself, when was the last time that I felt super comfortable in an outfit, and why was that the case? And then, when was the last time that I felt a bit uncomfortable in an outfit, and why? And what can I learn from these 2 things moving forward? And of course, I want you to ask yourself, what makes me feel like a real goddess? And I think I'm just gonna leave it there. And actually, I would love to hear your reflections in the comments. Like, I would love to know what makes you feel like a goddess, and we can all inspire each other to express ourselves authentically. Maybe even share if there's like a certain clothing piece that makes you feel super comfortable and why. Or share something about your personal journey of expressing yourself. With that said, I think I just want to say you are so loved, and you are loved no matter how you dress. It is just clothes. Have fun with it. Allow yourself to make mistakes, and allow yourself to show up as the truest version of yourself, however that is, and allow yourself to, yes, evolve. Have fun with it. I'm so grateful to have you here. If you made it unto the end, thank you so much for watching this video. I am so grateful if it resonated with you, and I hope that you want to stick around and be a part of this beautiful online community. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and maybe share this with someone who could really use a little girl talk.